My friends, what's up? I'm excited to go all over the place off the top of my head. And this is, let's be very clear. I think at this point on some of these videos, it's more like, it's definitely a reaction because I'm reacting. But it's kind of like therapy. It's like letting me get my ideas out and like actually have, I guess, a one-sided conversation. But I do read your comments. I do appreciate your comments, even the people who really don't like what I'm doing. I do value the criticism and the feedback, even though I may still do or will 100% do what I think is the correct move. Someone's like, he doesn't care. I do care. Just because I care doesn't mean your comments will affect my behavior. I can care about what you have to say without changing my actions. Anyways, Fire and Rain. Like I said, reminds me of James Taylor. I seen fire and I seen rain. Yeah, I seen some shit. Y'all seen it too. Let's go.
If I go far from home, I still know.
Oh, correct speed? This is correct speed.
Far from home, I still know I'm not alone. You're wherever I'll be, 'cause I can.
That she's sticking with being much faster tempo.
If I go far from home, I still know I'm not alone. You're wherever I'll be. Too dark, I just look for my North Star. Finding you is easy, 'cause I'll carry you with.
I think this is actually out of the, we've done 3 songs now off the new album. I think this is the most jazzy of the old ones, even though the tempo doesn't seem that way. So she's in a very narrow range, but the chords are constantly changing behind her, which changes the color on things. Let's do a food analogy, right? I can give you peanuts by itself. It's peanuts. I can put peanuts on a Turkish dessert like baklava. It's still peanuts, but it's a little bit different, right? We can put peanuts on a cheese log. It's still peanuts, but it's a little different. So her voice is very consistent, and the music around her is like the substrate that is changing. The dish is changing because of the music behind her. The peanuts still gotta be good. Her voice is great. So the peanuts are great. But you get it.
So finding you is easy, 'cause I'll carry you with.
Oh, that's the major 4 to minor 4.
Carry you with me. Ain't no mountain high.
Ooh.
That I'm not gonna climb. No river is too wide.
Okay, this is also not typical for her.
That I'm not gonna climb.
So that bass you're hearing is synthetic because like an upright bass is not going to make that low bass sound. That's a synth. Boom, 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 boom.
No mountain high that I'm not gonna climb. No river is too wide, valley too low.
Oh, we also have those snaps back, I think, from the first song or second song, where the snaps of the percussion. There's no actual percussion.
Places to climb. No river is too wide, valley too low. The places that I go.
Oh, and there's our percussion, a snare out of nowhere. Almost doing like a slow drum line.
River is too wide, valley too low. The places that I go. Fire.
Oh, and the snare went across the headphones and then it changed to toms. It actually really does sound like a, you call it marching band drum line, the quints. They have quads. The quints, so you have like 5 drums that you're supporting on your shoulders that don't have snares, but it sounds like a drum line. It does not sound like a drum kit fill at all to me.
Valley too low, the places that I go. Fire.
Oh, and the places where I go, the drums actually travel across your headset. Go listen to the original. It goes from left to right when she says places where I go. The drums actually go somewhere.
Valley too low, the places that I go. Fire.
Oh!
Throwing on my way.
And then now we have a bass that's glissandoing. Boom, 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 boom. Usually you think about it in terms of voice or higher pitched instruments where you slide between notes. But something that's really popular in the rap community, the trap community, is doing that with bass. So instead of ba 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 ba, you get boom 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 boom. They just slide between the notes, and that's happening here. Which, talk about being completely antithetical to 50s, 60s, 70s jazz. I don't think that existed in music at all. I mean, other than maybe in Indian music with the tablas. Oh, where's it hit on the beat? The bass actually cuts out for a beat. I get stronger from the pain. Try to break me, I'll be. Yeah, so the bass cuts off on 3. It's like wah 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 off. Wah 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 wah. So it's actually on 1, 2, and 4, and it's empty on 3. Which, if you remember the other song, I don't remember the name, the one where it sounded like Dre, where you emphasize 1 and 3 like it's a rock song. A lot of times, taking something out on a beat when things are loud is still serving to accent the beat, but you're accenting the beat with silence. So in this case, bass on 1, 2, and 4, and the silence in the bass is accenting 3 by its lack of bass being there. Try to break me, I'll be okay. I risk it all, I know I'm. Also, if you listen to the bass, da 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 da, wah wah ba 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 ba. If you listen to it, the bass is sliding to nowhere, because on beat 2 the bass is sliding down, and on beat 4 the bass is coming up. The point. What's the word for the? It's not nadir. There's a word at the bottom of a wave. The bottom. Anyways, the actual point where the bass is descending to doesn't exist. You don't hear it. So it slides down. The actual lowest point is not present. It's muted, it's silent. But it's like a black hole. You know it exists because of what's going on around it. Right, the black hole is pulling in the light, and it's having gravitational changes in the celestial bodies that are around it. So you know the black hole is there because of how its gravitation is affecting the elements around it. In this case, you know that bass note exists. You just don't get to hear it, because you can hear one bass note going down to it, and then another one coming from it. But the actual note you don't get to hear. I'm 100% positive when they're recording it, that note is there. They just take it out. They just, mute it. I'll be okay. I risk it all. I know I'm brave. Getting stronger every day. 'Cause I'm never going. Now another trick there. The drums got a little fast. Not quite as deliberate as in the beginning, but we had some other audio effects on top of that. Getting stronger every day. A little high pass. You hear some extra artifacts up in the top end, and you hear that's kind of like all the way around the sound, and you hear a little bit of snare going kind of nuts in your left ear, and these are actually. I don't actually know what you call them. They're transitions, but they're not structural. The transition is in the instrumentation. It's not in the. I don't actually know the correct word for it. Every day, 'cause I'm never going down, never gonna ever hit the ground. Oh, we still have percussion. So if we were gonna have percussion, it's the piano. Eighth notes in the piano. I think that's our percussion. Oh, we have a bass drum. We might have 2 or 3 bass drums all tuned very low. I would classify them all as bass drums, but I think they're tuned a little differently. So you have a little bit of melodic contour on the bass drums. So like do 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 do. Those are very close notes, but it's a melodic contour. 'Cause I'm never Hold on, she says never going down is when the bass goes to the ground. Never going down is right when the bass dives to its lowest part. Oh, and never hit the ground. So down and ground are 4 beats apart. So I'm never going down is at the bottom of the bass. Never hit the ground is at the bottom of the bass. And those 2 words are, I don't know, 3 or 4 beats apart. Never going wow, da 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 wow. Going down, never gonna ever hit the ground. Oh, it doesn't do it on Fire and Rain. It doesn't do it on Fire and Rain. It does it on the 2 previous phrases. Never going down. Never hit the ground. Fire and Rain. And it doesn't do it. Man, that can't be coincidence. I mean, I guess it could be, but really, it's not coincidence. Oh, there's another little drum fill on the quints. With you by my side. Snaps are back. Ain't no mountain high that I'm not gonna climb. Nowhere I go. That's the only time so far where the drums started here. Those quints started here and went behind me and back out the other ear. It's like they're finally completing their orbit. Every other time they started here and went. This last time they went behind me. There ain't no way you're gonna hear that on YouTube. Go back to take the timestamp, man. We're at 1:30. Go listen to it on Spotify at 1:30. Listen for the drum fill moving from right to left behind you, as opposed to the other 2 times it happened. The places that I go, fire rain, keep throwing on my way. Get stronger from the pain, fire rain. Try to break me, I'll be okay. I risk it all day, 'cause I'm never going down, never gonna ever hit the ground. Fire rain. Okay, now this section is completely repeated as before. It's repeated exactly the same way. Never hit the ground. What's her lyrics? Never gonna ever hit the ground. Fire rain. Yeah. Never going down, never ever gonna hit the ground. And both times it dives, and on the Fire and Rain, it stays static. We're talking about the bass line, and that was what happened the last 2 times. They could have just cut and pasted the sections, but a lot of times arrangers will want a little bit of contrast, a little bit of contrast in their arrangement. The fact that these are identical could mean the arranger's lazy, but I doubt it. It could just be cut and paste. I think it's an intentional idea to keep the composition continuity. 4 times at least. Oh, the drums finally went back around that way again. So I might have missed them. The fact that I heard it twice go back around is maybe I missed it earlier. Twice is a little suspect. Once you hear something twice, you're like, maybe I heard it 3 times. I still know I'm not. If I go far from home, I still know I'm not alone. Now she's far from home. Now I might be stretching here on my analogies. She's far from home. She's also far from the arrangement. This is just piano. It's no strings. It's none of the extra synthesizer up top. There's none of the finger snaps. There's none of the synth bass diving down. So she's far from home. She's also very far from what the arrangement has been sounding like. If I go far from home. Hold on. There's an abrupt cut. There's like 3 instruments that right before she sings, they disappear. 5 seconds is enough. You can hear it in 5 seconds. Here we go. We're going to play it. Everything. You're going to hear it, everything. And then it's going to cut right when her vocal comes in. 3 or 4 things in the mix are going to just disappear. If I go far from home, I still know. 'Cause I carry you with me. fucking fantastic. I think, oh, sorry, you guys don't like the F word, but it was fucking fantastic, and I stand by that. You might not like the way I describe it, but I do stand by it, and I think so far, have I heard 3 songs or 4 songs from this? I think she has done an exceptional job of giving everybody everything they want. I have complained or criticized or commented on many of her songs on how they're stuck in the past. They are great versions of the past, but they are very much the past. And I think she has retained a lot of what makes her belong in the past. She's kept that about her voice and her delivery, but she's changed the music around her to be more updated. I'm sure there must be some, because I was car shopping and I bought a car, so like I assume there must be some car thing like old conservative values but with a sleek new fashion. It's kind of like that. Like she's retaining all of the qualities that made you love her in the first place, but they've been updated and severely updated.